Hi guys, it's Carissa. I am a little nervous because this video is really hard to make. It's so embarrassing and it is hard to expose things that are like the greatest source of shame that you could possibly carry around. Not only expose those things, but also share very controversial ways of repairing yourself from those same issues. So I guess having another channel and having talked at length about my struggles with my infertility and with having PCOS, sometimes I almost forget about just how much information I've given out in the past, and I feel nervous or scared to talk about things like this. And I've only ever been met with so much love and support that I feel like it's time for me to just accept what I've done to myself and accept who I've become and really talk about what it's going to take for me to be a person that I am proud of being and to be a woman who is worthy of the things that I aspire to have, like a family. Because just because everybody can have a family doesn't mean everyone should. And I feel like the woman that I have been for the last few years in the process of trying to obtain a family is not a woman who deserves one. Okay. In case for some reason you don't know me and you don't know my story, I am 32 years old and I have polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS, which is an endocrine disorder that affects the ovaries and the overall workings of the body of the woman who has it. And the reason I say that is because it varies from woman to woman. PCOS can be very severe or it can be mild. The main thing that I suffer from with PCOS is insulin resistance, and that is the same issue that diabetics have. So without being a dietitian, without being a doctor, I just want to let you know I did a lot of research and I thought I need to learn how to eat for the body that I have been given and for the conditions that I suffer from. And I also need to overcome emotional eating, which is mostly in the form of binge eating, but let's face it, you can overeat terrible foods, but you can also overeat healthy foods. So even though I know that weight loss is a huge component of this, especially being that I have over 100 pounds that I really ideally should lose, I want you to know that talking about what it is that I'm doing isn't the most important part of this video. The most important part is that I have identified things that I'm struggling with, and I'm realizing the effects that making these changes are having on my body and on my life. I feel better than I have in a really long time and things are looking up, but I am by no means anywhere near where I need to be. I have a very long road ahead of me. So I want to share this with you mainly because I know a lot of you care about me and you have been supportive to me and you suffer from very similar problems. So if I'm able to just share with you what is working for me, I'd like for you to just consider it. It may go against every single thing you believe in, which is what happened with me. It may be frustrating and it may seem impossible, but I just want you to consider it. Do your research, talk to your doctor. And above all else, just understand that this is my path, and just because it's been working for me doesn't mean it always will, and just because it's been working for me doesn't mean it will work for you. But I've had a lot of questions about this, and I have taken the time to privately message a few people in the spirit of wanting to help them. But instead of doing that from this point forward, I figure I will just be honest with you and open and let you know what it is that's taking place. So let's get down to the actual facts. What has happened here? Currently, as I make this video today, I am down 23 pounds, and that is since August 15th. I am down just under 14 inches all over my body. I do weigh myself and take measurements and photographs every Friday morning. I did talk to my doctor about this, and while she does support it, she also made a few just suggestions of things that I could do to add to the diet that I'm currently following. And I have checkups with her or with her nurse practitioner every 3 months. So I do see her very often, and I also monitor my blood pressure. Because I have hypertension, and it does run in my family on both sides, I am on blood pressure medication, but I hope to be able to get to the point someday where that's no longer an issue and where I don't need support from medications, or I just need to do a lot less, maybe take a smaller dose. As of my last doctor's appointment, my blood pressure and weight were both down. My blood pressure continues to be elevated, but it's at a manageable level, and it's much lower than it has been in the last few years. As far as clothes go, I am down from a size 26 pant to a size 18. Now this is in a plus size store, and these pants are definitely stretchy, so there's a really good chance that the 18 isn't a genuine 18, but this is a pair of pants I was wearing in like late June and early August. They're 26, 28, and this is how big they are. Oh goodness. And this is the pair of pants that I've been wearing lately. Actually, these are the ones I just got. I didn't realize these are the ones I grabbed. These are a size 16. Again, it's because they're stretchy. I don't think I'm a genuine size 16, but I don't know. I haven't gone to a regular store since like the 90s. So, but this is just a comparison of the size difference in my jeans. So there's a couple of inches off the waist size, even though going down from a 26 to a 16 sounds really severe. I'm sure I'm probably still closer to like a 20 in a regular store. Some of the side effects from having PCOS have lowered significantly in my life. One of the ones that was the most exciting to me is I had ovulation pain right around the time I was supposed to. I'm not currently trying to conceive. I'm not preventing. I'm just trying to better my life, and in trying to track what I eat, my calories, you know, just everything I do every day, I also kind of like to have an idea of when my monthly cycle should be, because if I get it regularly, I would forget. I'm not the type that's good to remember that kind of thing. Even when I'm tracking things, I don't remember the actual date of when I'm supposed to expect my cycle. So I have an app that just tells me right around the time that I should be ovulating and when I should be starting my cycle. And after 2 months of following this lifestyle and making these changes, I had ovulation pain on the exact day that I was supposed to, and I had a menstrual cycle on the day I was supposed to. I think it was like a day late. But typically, after going off of as many fertility drugs as I was in the past, and with PCOS, the odds of actually getting a period on my own without any medications, I wasn't expecting to have a period until the new year. I honestly wasn't. So that was a huge victory for me. Some other things that happen when you have PCOS, I have chin hair that you wouldn't believe. It is just broom bristle, thick black chin hair that grows out of, for some reason, predominantly this side of my face and at an angle like this. And so if I go like this, I could just feel these bristly, awful chin hairs. I'd have to go with my super magnification mirror, which is really dirty. I'd have to take that and a pair of tweezers to my face and pull at least one chin hair out every single day. And I have to pull like one a week now. Maybe two will come in at the same time, and that's when I'll have two in that week. I am So pleased with that. I barely have any upper lip hair that I have to worry about. I normally have to wax my face on a regular basis to help minimize some of the effects of the hair that grows. And I have had a regular, like, I've only had to do my lip when I've done my eyebrows. So that's a huge success on the not wanting to have a beard front. And one of the last PCOS side effects that I have noticed has not been an issue in my life anymore. And this happened after like 2 weeks of changing my lifestyle. This was a very rapid change that I saw. Is just a cosmetic issue more than anything. It's just embarrassing if you've discovered that it's a problem on your body, but it is prevalent in people with PCOS or diabetes, basically insulin resistance or endocrine disorders, or just morbid obesity. So I had a few of those things. Is something called, I think it's Acanthosis nigricans. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but people call it AN, and it is a darkening and thickening of the skin in jointed areas or areas that rub frequently. So where I had it and where I was most embarrassed of it was in the creases on my neck, on the sides of my neck and the back. I also had it on my knuckles. I still have a little bit of a darkness to my knuckles, but I also think that's just because they're still kind of fat. But I know that seeing something like that change is a sign that my body is healing itself. My frustration in sharing with you what it is that has brought me these really positive changes in my life and what it is that I'm hoping to sustain for the better part of the rest of my life is that at first it goes against everything that you think you have known or learned about nutrition, or even maybe everything that you prefer. Prior to this, I was on an on-again, off-again, vegan to vegetarian diet, and thrown in some binges of fast food and pizza. So basically, when I was trying to be good and trying to improve my life, I had a mostly vegetarian diet, and because I have sinus issues and tend to get sinus infections, which I always thought were from dairy, I would also try and eliminate dairy. I was trying to eat a lot of fruit, and I would try not to have a lot of gluten or processed carbs, so like white carbs. So that was, I think, in a lot of ways, a really good thing that I was doing for myself, just based on what I thought was the best option for me. And I have in the past lost some weight doing that if I also combined it with counting calories. The problem is that I still felt really bloated and I didn't feel any better. And it was hard to sustain that because I was still eating sugar, and I was still having a lot of sugar just even from fruit, just naturally occurring sugars. I was using my juicer a lot and making juices, and I was just spiking my blood sugar constantly and really aggravating that insulin resistance. After talking to my doctor about it, she did say that she doesn't want me to be too extreme about this, and I completely appreciate that because I know that there are some doctors who haven't even embraced this as a solution yet. But I plan to monitor myself closely enough that if there's ever a point where my cholesterol becomes an issue or my blood pressure gets higher or any of the things that would be signs that I'm doing harm to my body, I will adjust my lifestyle. When I first found out that this was something that people were doing and finding great success with when they were hundreds of pounds, I'm talking 400 or 500 pounds, getting down in a very short period of time also to a healthy, manageable weight. I thought, this is just sorcery and I don't know how that's possible. I did a lot of reading, and my only regret is that I didn't start it right when I started reading about it, because who knows where I would be today. But basically, a little over a year ago, I found out about a ketosis diet, or people call it keto for short. It is also known as high fat, low carb. I have already kind of mentioned that I've cut out carbohydrates almost completely, with the exception of just naturally occurring carbs that are in things that I do eat on a daily basis. Like cheese has carbs in it, and but a very trace amount, and vegetables, some of them more than others, like bell peppers have a lot more than broccoli. Sugar, I've cut out completely. If I ever have any sugar, it's again from trace amounts that are ingredients of food that I'm eating, but I check everything first. And I'm not saying that I've been completely perfect with carbs and sugar. I've granted myself cheat meals here and there. In a lot of the cases, I haven't even really enjoyed them, but I felt like that was necessary at the time, and that's what I did. And then the next thing I ate was exactly what I needed to just continue on my way and do the right things. So if I have had any carbs or sugar, it's because I've had like a cheat meal and I've intended to have those things. But ultimately, what ends up happening is I get really sick from that. Now, the part that freaks people out about this is the high fat component. I know paleo is very accepted, very widely accepted, and I believe that that is a dairy-free version of this, and there are carbs involved. I guess I don't know enough about paleo to really talk about it. But I know that's very widely accepted, but there are similar aspects of that to this, except this diet has a high fat component. And there are a lot of online resources. Just Google it. Just Google keto before and after, or keto success, or just Google the diet itself, KETO, and do your own research. Because online forums will tell you that the first rule of this diet is to not talk about it, because you will be met with criticism and arguments and people trying to say ridiculous things like your body needs carbs. So because I feel like this has been working for me well, I'm on a pretty clear momentum right now, and I am now, as of today, in the 250s for the first time in a very long time. A very, very long time. I wanted to kind of celebrate that and share with you what I'm doing. But once you start reading about this and trying to consider if it's for you, it's going to scare you a little. It's going to sound extreme. It's going to sound difficult. And there are moments where it feels difficult, but I'll be honest with you, I think the reason why people find they have so much success on this is because they are not super hungry because of the extra fat in their diet. And that fat does a lot of good things for you. My nails and my hair have been growing, my eyelashes and eyebrow hairs have been growing quite a bit. And my skin, a lot of you have been telling me that my skin has been looking better. And I honestly think that's because I have so much more fat in my diet. But I also think sugar and carbs can do some really ugly things, especially heavily processed stuff. I shoot for having about 20 grams or less of carbs a day. I typically round out at about 12 to 18 carbs max for the day, but there are some days where it's as low as 5 or 6 grams. It just depends on what I'm eating, what I feel like having, and what I want. I drink between 3 and 4 liters of water a day minimum. Before I even have another sip of any other type of beverage or any other food for the day, I always have at least 1 liter of water first thing in the morning. It just gets my, it just wakes my whole body up, gets my metabolism going, and it makes my organs feel refreshed, and I just feel so much better after that every morning. I'm taking supplements. I'm making sure that I have adequate amounts of potassium and magnesium and sodium in my body, and if you don't do that, you can get really sick. My first couple of days into this diet, I woke up with horrible Charlie horses because I didn't realize that I needed to supplement potassium. I track what I eat most of the time on MyFitnessPal, but I have kind of a habit formed at this point where I know what certain things are calorie-wise, so some days I eat all the same things. And I apologize, but I do not want to share any of that information publicly, just because that's private for me. I know some people feel very motivated by that and they like to share those things. I will make videos for you on things that I eat, and some of the things that I like the most to have on a daily basis. I do aim for 1,600 calories a day. I think my MyFitnessPal set up for 1,610. But I don't always meet that exactly, and I don't beat myself up for it. I know there are days where I eat about 1,800 calories, and there are some days where I'm closer to 2,000. But I just listen to my body. If I'm hungry, I eat something. And as long as my carbs are on the low side, the actual grams that I'm counting for my serving sizes, I'm okay with exceeding my calorie goal for that day if that's just what my body feels like it needs. There are other days, they're fewer, they happen less often, but there are other days where I don't even really want that much and I have closer to 1,200 calories. But I'm always having usually between 3 and 5 liters of water a day. And I feel like that is so important. I have not been regularly exercising. I have been doing some weightlifting and squats, and I've also been doing push-ups. But because I have a lot of weight to lose, I'm really just trying to build my muscle and support my joints, and I will work on the cardio aspect. I'd love to get to a point where my stomach isn't so big that I can actually do yoga and Pilates. But right now I just focus on strength training. And if you do research on this diet and way of life, you will find that strength training is ideal because you're less likely to get as hungry from burning as many calories. My husband has been so wonderful and supportive, and he has been doing it as well. He has lost about 11 pounds, which looks like 30 pounds on him. I mean, he didn't really have that much to lose, but he's lost inches and pounds, and he's not tracking. He's not counting his calories, tracking, or counting his carbs. Another huge support has been my sister. To be honest, my husband and my sister were my two favorite people to eat terrible things with. I try and eat well when I was by myself so that when I was eating socially, which is such a weird thought process, but when I was eating socially, I could kind of indulge and not feel as guilty about it because I had a partner in crime. So my sister, who also possibly suffers from a little bit of insulin resistance as well, as has been suggested by her doctors in the past, she has had a lot of success with this as well. I'm really proud of her. She has all the same demons to overcome that I do when it comes to possible food addiction and binge eating and all of those things, emotional eating. And I think that she's lost about 14 or 16 pounds. And she's been doing this right alongside with me. We have been trading secrets. I mean, one day she was like, oh my gosh, I just found out how many carbs are in garlic, cloves of garlic, and I've been eating a ton of it. You know, there are little things that you just learn along the way, and we have been helping each other and trying to support each other. And I am not claiming to be perfect, and I am hoping to sustain this for the long term. So when I look at it, I think Christmas is coming up. Am I going to have a Christmas cookie, or am I going to have some pepperoni bread, or I don't know, any of the things that are there in front of me and looking amazing on Christmas? If I want them, I will. If I don't, I won't. That's one of the most important things about this, is just to identify the times when you need to have something just because you just want a bite of it. And sometimes that's all you need, is just a bite. I'm pretty sure my mom or my sister is going to make an apple pie for Thanksgiving. I'm going to have a piece of apple pie, unless for some reason I just don't want a piece. But I'm not going to box myself in. I'm not going to punish myself for the times when I just want to be human. And, you know, obviously I have to do that within reason. I can't be like, I'm going to have a slice of apple pie, and on the way I'm going to home and get donuts, and then I'm going to order a pizza. You know, you can't live like that, because that's how I've been living. I mean, it was a good run. It was a good run. I had a lot of things I shouldn't. And it's time to take my life seriously. Please don't be offended if I throw you into the hands of Google or Bing, if people use Bing. But I feel like I am not the best resource for this. The interwebs are. That's what helped me, and that's what gave me the information that I have now. And if you do want to know things that I'm specifically doing, I will be happy to share. And if you do want to know, if I reach certain milestones, I have a big present that I want to give myself if I lose 50 pounds and, and keep going. So I'm trying to plan that out and use that as a source of just mini inspiration, because obviously I have big, lofty, happy goals for my life on the other side of all of this weight. And that really is my motivator. But in the meantime, I'm trying to just give myself these little victories to celebrate, because sometimes when you look at if you're taking a road trip from New York to California and you look at how far you have to go, you might just say, screw it. And I'm trying really hard not to do that. I've done that too many times. So thank you. I'm sorry this was so long. I'm sorry if there are things that I did or didn't explain properly. This is really difficult to talk about. I will now show you some before and after pictures. Please be kind. Please understand how difficult this is for me. It's also a little bit not safe for work because it's a big old girl without a shirt on. But I do have a sports bra on, so I will show you my most recent before and after picture. And thank you again so much to all of you who have even just said like that you thought my face looked thinner. Just little things like that make me feel like, yes, this is all worth it. And it doesn't even feel that hard. It doesn't even feel like that much of a struggle. But when it gets hard, stuff like that does really, it just, I don't know. I want to make you guys proud, and I want to help you too if I can. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you a million times. And I hope you're well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.